Okay, good evening and namaste everyone. Welcome to this 3-day workshop about the digestive system, the gut. And we will also be taking this topic to spiritual and yogic level. So we are not alone going to talk about the anatomy and physiology alone. So the main idea behind this is to look at the systems with a different perspective, not the way they are constructed and designed in a different way. So this is the main reason how behind this topic. So the overview for day one, which is today, is going to be what does the term gut refers to. And second, we will consider the gut and the brain connection. What is the connection between the two? And the third will be importance of the gut in our physical, mental, and emotional health. Okay. Now I'm going to show you an image and we will keep that image for some time so we can understand. Let me share this with you. Okay. Is this visible to everyone? Is the picture visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Do you want me to enlarge it or is it okay?
Uh,
Let me see if I can. Yeah.
I can see it all.
Okay.
yeah, that looks good. I enlarged it, I think, myself.
Okay. Wonderful.
Oh, that's better. Oh,
I think that goes out of the dimension,
Yeah.
so I'll keep it here. You all can enlarge it at your end if you want. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the first question is, what does the term gut refers to? So gut is a very general term that we use for this huge area which starts from the mouth until the anus, which is the opening of the rectum to the external world, right? From where the waste passes out. So this entire mouth to anus region is called the gut. It is also called the digestive system. It is also called the gastrointestinal tract, which is the GI tract in short. So I will be using the term GI tract instead of the gastrointestinal system. Now, there is a community of microorganisms in the gut, and this community is also called microbiome. This is also called the flora of the gut. Okay, we are going to talk about it later, but I'm just giving you a very short idea about what all is contained in the gut. Then we have all the organs, which is the food pipe, which is called the alimentary canal. And then we have the stomach, the small intestines, and the large intestines. And then we have the bowels, which are the rectum. So all these are in general called the gut. Okay. Now there is a it is also called there is also a center for the digestive fire, which is called Agni in Sanskrit. Now we will talk about Agni also. Agni refers literally means fire. Now, there is not a fire burning inside us in the gut, no flames, nothing like that. It is just that if we look at the meaning of Agni, which is fire, fire means energy. Fire also means something, whichever thing comes in contact with the fire, it gets burned. So look at the word in that sense. So the food, when it comes in contact with this digestive fire, it gets burned, it gets processed, and then it gets separated into what is needed by the body and what is not. So that's why the name Agni is the term that is used spiritually and in yogic terms. This is the name for the digestive fire. Now, if we look at this Agni or digestive fire, if we want to name it in scientific terms, we would call these enzymes. So, as I said, there is not a fire burning inside the stomach or the gut, but there are certain digestive enzymes which take part in the digestive process and which facilitate the digestive process. Now, before I go further, I want to ask if you understand what what enzymes are. What is meant by enzymes? What do we understand? Because we have heard this term and we use this term a lot, enzymes, but do we really understand what enzymes are?
Mm.
Okay, that is a very beautiful, all of
Well,
you.
because we know there's stomach acid, but enzymes, I think, are altogether different still, right? Or
Yes, the acids are also contributed by enzymes. So acid is not like an acid which we use in the labs. It
right.
doesn't burn anything. So it is particularly meant only for the gut, and that is part of enzymes' job to produce acids. But enzymes, let me explain what enzymes are. They are basically protein in nature, right? And they are biological catalysts. Now, catalyst is something that speeds up a chemical reaction, but it itself remains unused. So it doesn't get used in the process, but it takes part in speeding up any chemical reaction, right? So, and they are all proteins. Basically, they are all proteins. So these biological catalysts or proteins, you can call them, are called enzymes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now gut in a very common and layman's language is also called belly. It is also called tummy, and it is also called midriff. Midriff means the area which is between the chest and the pelvic region. That entire area is called midriff. Okay, so these are the common names that the gut is referred to as. And now we come to the second point, which is the gut and the brain connection. What is the connection between the gut and the brain, and why are we even talking about this? So, there is one brain in the head, we all know about it, and the gut is referred to as the second brain in a human body. So,
Mm.
another name for gut is the second brain. So it has a very, very important role to play in a human body. We are taking the general topic today, so we understand exactly what gut is and how it plays part in a human body. And then we will go forward tomorrow and the day after. So now, why do we call gut the second brain? Why is it called the second brain? Because 80% of the immunity in a human body is in the gut. Okay, it comes from the gut. And the flora of the gut, which we earlier talked about, the microbiome or the microorganisms, all the bacteria, viruses, fungi, these are the good bacteria, viruses, and fungi that make up the flora of the gut. There are about 10,000 species of them in the gut, and approximately 100 trillions of them inside a human body. of all these bacteria, viruses, and fungi. And they are useful for the body if the gut is in optimum condition. They can be harmful too if we don't take care of the gut and the digestive processes, they go bad or they start malfunctioning. Then these bacteria, viruses, they weaken and then they can no longer serve the health of the gut. So now this bacteria, viruses, the microbiome or the flora, they love fiber. So they literally thrive and survive on fiber. They also love fermented food, which is also called probiotics. Now when we go to stores these days, we see a lot of probiotics written all over the products. We are going to talk about what probiotics exactly means and how it is useful for the gut, for a human body. Okay. Now, this bacteria, viruses, and fungi, which form the flora of the gut, they love fiber and they love probiotics. There are two terms. One is probiotics and one is prebiotics.
Mm.
Okay. Now, there is a difference between these two. They are not the same. Now, probiotics, which are found in fermented food, yogurt, like yogurt, kefir, and sauerkraut, and yeast, maybe, yes. So they are live microorganisms. Probiotics are live bacteria, live microorganisms, certain types of bacteria, yeast. They can be added to food or they can be taken as a supplement. And they are found in fermented food like yogurt, like kefir, like sauerkraut. Okay, so that is probiotics. Now, what is prebiotics? Prebiotics is non-digestible fibers that act as food for these gut bacteria. So prebiotics cannot be digested in a human body, but they serve as food for probiotics, which is the healthy bacteria. Okay. Now these are found in onion, garlic, bananas, oats, apples. All these have prebiotics, and when we eat such foods, they help to grow and they help to survive and thrive the gut bacteria, viruses, and fungi. So prebiotics is needed for the health of probiotics. Now we can understand this very simply as probiotics are like seeds that we plant in our gut garden. And prebiotics is like a fertilizer that helps those seeds to grow and to keep them healthy. Okay? Did we all get that part?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now, this is one reason why the gut is called the second brain in a human body. Now, the second reason, stomach has its own nervous system. Let me show you that image so we can understand that better. I'm going to take this out and I will share another one with you. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Can you see that? Is it visible to everyone?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
Okay. Now?
that's better. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is the connection between the brain and the gut. Okay, we are going to talk about that. But first, the stomach, the gut, has its own nervous system. And that system is called enteric nervous system, ENS. Just like we have sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system in the entire body, the stomach is a kind of individual entity. It has the sole property of this ENS, enteric nervous system. Now, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, they have a say, they have a control over all the organs in the body, except the stomach. They cannot control the stomach. The enteric nervous system does that. So the stomach is an independent body which has its own nervous system. And that is another reason why we call gut the second brain. Okay. Now, this nervous system is so advanced that if the connection to brain is cut due to any reason, the stomach will still keep functioning because the nervous system is entirely different from the rest of the body. So that is one reason why it is called the second brain in the human body. Now, there are millions of neurons, about 500 millions of neurons, neurotransmitters, about 40 of them. So there is a very intricate, very deep-seated network of nerves in the gut. So it is a full-fledged entity. That's why it has that title of second brain in the body. Okay. Now, as you see in the picture, it also has the distribution of vagus nerve. This is the vagus nerve in yellow, and it does cover a major part of the gut. And now then we have the hormones and the blood circulation. So vagus nerve is also in the brain and until the gut. So everything is interconnected and they have a very deep relationship, the gut and the brain. And we are going to talk about that also, that how this relationship works. Okay. So the 95% of serotonin, the happy hormone, which helps in building up appetite, which makes us happy. And this determines our mood. This also determines our social interactions. It also determines our digestion. So all this hormone alone, and 95% of this hormone is taken care of by the gut. It is found in the gut. So that's why it has a very huge title of the second brain. Okay. Now we are coming to the importance of gut in the physical, mental, and emotional health of a human being. Spiritual interpretation. Let's make a spiritual interpretation of stomach's role. Now, the stomach has that ability to process what is beneficial and what is harmful for a human body. Now, if we take this in a spiritual sense, we will be able to decipher that the stomach has the ability to separate the pure from the impure. And here by impure, I mean the waste products that is formed in the body that has to be taken out, right? So stomach has that ability to separate what is needed for the body and what is not, right? So then we have the center of energy, which is the digestive fire. We also have the solar plexus in the gut, around the belly button area, which is called the Manipur chakra in Sanskrit. And then we have the vagal connection, as you can see in this image, between the gut and the brain. So if we need any resetting, one needs a resetting, the other one has to step in. Okay. And then the gut health also impacts the emotional balance and spiritual clarity. If your gut is healthy, working at the optimum level, a person is able to think clearly and also remain happy and emotionally balanced. So this plays a role in a person's outlook. Okay. Now, gut is a place of deep intuition. That's why we have that term gut feeling,
Mhm.
right? We say gut feeling because it arises in the gut. And that happens due to the deep network of neural pathways and because the stomach has its own enteric nervous system. So there are electrical impulses, there are hormones, everything is working with their own abilities, and that gives rise to the gut feeling. It has memory, right? So let's understand this with an example. Like, let's say brain perceives a threat or a stressful situation. Now, the brain is going to send a message to the gut, maybe through the nerves, maybe through the vagus nerve or vagus nerve, as you want to call it. Now, when the gut receives this message, this stressful message, all the alarm sounds begin to ring in the gut. And these alarm sounds are the sense of uh, that anxiety and nervousness. And then we have that butterflies. In general term, we say butterflies in the stomach, right? That is the sense of when we are nervous, when we are anxious, we find that feeling in the gut. And that is what gut is doing to cope up with the stressful situation signal that brain has sent to it. And that stressful signal is being coped up by producing more acid in the gut to help relieve the brain of the pressure. So the butterfly and nervous signals are the coping up signals of the gut. Okay, now if we think about it, that butterfly sensation or something like pit in the stomach, that pit feeling in the stomach is all happening in the first place, the message which is coming from the brain about the stressful situation or the threat. So when we have any butterflies, it's not connected to the stomach, it's connected to the brain because we are thinking likewise and the same message is being delivered to the gut and gut is producing more acid to take care of that alarm sound. Okay, now if we want to reverse, because there is a connection between the two, when we eat any food which is high in sugar, which is full of toxins, and the drinks or the drugs, the mental clarity is lost. There is brain fog, there is confusion, and that is coming from the brain. So the person is putting all these things in the stomach, eating, drinking, and the message is going to the brain, and the brain is losing its clarity and the brain fogging, and then we have confusion, lack of clarity. And this is exactly what we mentioned first. Um, Emotional and physical and mental clarity is taken care by the gut. So there's a very deep relationship, a very deep love affair between the two. So if one gets affected, the other will have to step in and show certain signs and symptoms. Okay? Okay. So that was a general overview of what gut is all about. And tomorrow we are going to take it in a much deeper sense. We will go over vegetarian, non-vegetarian. We will look at the food part of um, the human system. We will also look at whether it is good to be a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian and why, and certain other spiritual aspects of food. So tomorrow and the day after, it's all going to be in the yogic and spiritual sense. So today we just wanted to clear out certain if we don't know what gut is, if we don't know what the connection between the two is. So when we talk about the topics tomorrow and the day after, it will be easy to understand. Okay, so I'll open the floor to questions if you have any. I'm going to stop the share.
Rupa, if you're the type of person that when you are stressed or upset, it affects your gut right away,
Yeah.
even though before the incident you were feeling fine, does that mean your gut is unhealthy?
No, it may not be that. Just as we talked about, there is a connection between the two. So even if the gut is healthy or non-healthy, that is a different story. But the brain will send a message to the gut about the stressful situation. And the gut will react by producing more acid. And if you can reflect, in such situations, sometimes the mouth goes dry. Sometimes the heart begins to beat faster. And sometimes you feel that burning sensation in the stomach. All these symptoms are because the now gut is reacting to the message that the brain sent it, that stressful or threat message, and the gut is responding by producing more acid because that is what it does. And then producing more acid will cause a burning sensation, and more acid means drying up the skin and the lips on the mouth, right?
Yeah, I
And
guess.
yeah,
All right. What I find that I can't understand is why does it not affect everybody by having this reaction?
Yeah.
again, we come back to the brain and the gut connection. Now, if it is all about how you perceive a situation. Now, if you are in spiritual sense, we are going to answer this question. So if in a spiritual sense the person is calm and peaceful, right, they are going to perceive a threat or a stressful situation in a different way than a person who is not.
Oh, okay.
So if they perceive a situation in a calm manner, they are breathing and they are connected to their breath, the stomach will hardly receive any stressful message from the brain.
Okay.
And in that case, there will be no need for the stomach to overload acids in the
Okay.
right? Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Do we know why the acid is produced? Like, what is the reason for that? Or is it just because of it senses danger and then acid is produced?
Yeah, that is just a response to the dangerous or stressful situation. And that is the job of the stomach to protect. As a protection, it does that job. But it has to step in with that protection when it receives the message from the brain. So now if we keep ourselves calm, if we are breathing in a stressful situation, that thing in the gut will not happen. That process will not happen in the gut. So we are allowing the gut to remain relaxed and not get stressed along with the brain. Right? So that's why it is very important to stay connected and remember to breathe in such situations. So neither the brain nor the gut, which is the second brain, will get affected.
Mhm. It's interesting because some parts of our body are like your muscles react with when you're frightened or you've got a threat coming. The blood supply goes to the extremities so that you can run, right?
Yeah.
But so I was trying to figure out, well, what does the acid do except give you ulcers? Because we know that acid eats at the stomach, right?
Yes.
If you have too much, like my dad had ulcers from being in the war. So if you have too much acid, so it's not really a helpful thing, which is what the adrenaline is for when you are, when you are worried or not worried, when you feel a threat, because it helps you run. It helps you it brings oxygen to your muscles. So I just wondered, it really isn't a very helpful thing.
No. So it is so important to keep yourself calm and peaceful in every situation.
Yeah.
And that's why practices like meditation and breathing come in effect here. Because if we are not taking care of the mind, of the reactions to the situation, this directly affects the gut. And now, because the gut has its own nervous system, the nerves are going to get irritated because of that stress message. More acid will be produced, and more acid means ulcers. In the long run, ulcers will happen.
Yeah.
And if we look at it where it is coming from, it is just coming from the brain, right? So that's the root cause of it.
And to Magda's question, there are people who are more sensitive than others by temperament. That's a temperament thing. And pardon?
That's a temperament thing.
Yeah. So that's genetically given. And there's been studies done that people that are more sensitive do react more strongly to something that's upsetting. It might be upsetting to a lot of people. It might be upsetting just to a few of those people. But to the sensitive person, it can be quite upsetting just by the nature of the fact that they're sensitive. So there is also that personality input too.
Yeah, of course.
Some
And
people
that's
like
why
it.
sensitive people might suffer from things like ulcers and maybe dryness in mouth and then lack of sleep, insomnia in the long run, because all this will get affected. The entire body will be now roped in this if it is not taken care of. So it all ends with the mind, how we take care of that part so it doesn't affect the rest of the body.
So meditate while you're driving, as you say.
Yeah.
Or you can meditate when you're driving.
Well,
Yeah.
meditation doesn't mean closing your eyes all the time. So it is, if you are connected to your breath, you are consciously breathing, you are meditating.
Yeah.
And you are well in control. Right? You can talk, you can walk, you can drive, but you have your mind on your breath. And that heals the body from inside. Yeah. Is of the breath. And there are different forms of meditation, different forms of meditation. This is just one of them. Another one is you have to sit and close your eyes, draw the curtains and the darkness in the room, and only then you can meditate. These are all different tools for a person, for a human being to meditate. The idea behind this is to motivate a human being to meditate, but we have to be careful that we don't get dependent on them. We cannot say, oh, I do need silence around me to meditate, otherwise I cannot. So it should be when the situation around you or the environment around you is conducive, there is silence, and then you meditate, and then you say, I meditated, it's not a big deal. So meditation is when there is noise and clutter around you, and still you are able to hold yourself well. That is the extraordinary part of meditation.
Mhm.
Yeah. Any other question? All right. I will see you tomorrow. It's going to get interesting tomorrow and the day after. Okay, everyone. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rupa.